at Polygram, how long does it take you to get to the top of the mountain? And did you want to go to the top of the mountain?
What happened was, I was working at Arista, and Ramon came by to see me one day, just on some whatever, and Vanessa at that point had done just Do Fries Go at That Shakin' Hey Good Looking on the P-Funk record, on the George Clinton record, and I knew that they'd been in and out of many offices here shopping a deal. And ostensibly what was happening was that she was kind of being ogled at by, record company presidents and A&R people, whatever, but nobody was really taking it seriously. And he said, we haven't been able to get anything happening, blah, 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 blah. And I told him, I said, look, on the lowest, and I'm leaving here in about 6 weeks. I got this offer from Polygram to start a label for them, and I'm going back home to California. I said I would entertain the notion then, because my theory at the time was I could start a new label with Susie Jones, an R&B female that nobody's ever heard of, or I could do it with Vanessa Williams, a name that everybody knew. And I said it was incumbent on me as an A&R guy and a record maker to make the right music, to find the right hole to put her in. And so he said, okay, cool. So I came home, and she and I sat and had dinner one night, and off to the races we went.
Is the goal of an A&R to find like 3 signature artists so that you can eventually like get considered for?
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, the presidency thing was not what I ever aspired to be. President of the whole Mercury thing. I never aspired to be that guy, but there was a certain aspect of when it was offered to me, I thought about a lot of those old school dudes that I knew from my dad's era, old brothers who would promotion men, whatever, the Dave Clarks, Joe Medlins of the world, people like that. People who probably worked your old man's records. So those guys were very qualified and extremely good at what they did, but they never were offered the situation, never got a shot. I thought about it, I said, who am I to say no? So I took, they made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and I didn't refuse it. But the truth of the matter is, the path, if I had stayed on the path that I was on, doing the wing thing, Vanessa blew, Tony's blew, Robin Harris was gonna blow. Unfortunately, we lost him in that period of time. And then that's when I found Brian along the same period of time, Brian McKnight. So if I had just done those records and just stayed in their careers, that was, those one success breeds another, album breeds another. I would have been 4 or 5 albums deep on each one of them,
How did you came through the Tonys because of Foster McElroy, but I thought they were more Warner based in like. How did they come to you?
I put them with Denny and Tommy.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Okay.
How they came to me was the Tonys had made a single, a 12-inch on Macola Records, the local indie label
They
here.
made a Look at House Jam.
Yeah.
Wow.
You must have told us this.
Raphael didn't tell us that shit. He told us he designs video games, but he didn't say that shit.
Yeah. I forget the name because I was thinking about it. I can't find it now. I shouldn't have sold my vinyl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Life lessons.
So they had a 12-inch on Macola, and my head of promotion at Wing at the time was a guy called Michael Johnson. And Michael came to me one day and said, "Man, you got to hear this record." And I said, "Yeah, it's cool. It's all right." He said, "Man, they're here in time. You want to fuck with them?" And I said, "Yeah." Their manager came by and I sat with them a little bit. And upon hearing it, I went, "These guys sound good, but they need help. They need somebody to help sort it out a little bit." In those days, my theory was every producer worth any degree of salt had a cassette in his back pocket of an act that they wanted to work with. Oh, this is my cousin, this is my brother, that kind of. And I said, these guys are cool. So David Lombard, who manages Denny and Tommy, was a friend, and I went to see Club Nouveau because Club Nouveau was playing here in town when Denny and Tommy were still in the band before they left. It was actually the last gig they played with them. So I went to the show with David, and he introduced me to Denny and Tommy. And I told him, I said, "Man, I'd like to have you guys work on this band that I'm thinking about signing." "Really, who?" And I told him, "Oh, we know those guys." They knew them from Oakland because I guess they'd worked with Tommy in the studio up in Oakland. So
at the time, did you realize that you were working with possibly the last, well, not the last R&B group, but I mean, if it starts with Sly and the Family Stone in '68, then it kind of the bracket ends with Toni in '88.
I was very aware of it. Absolutely.
So you knew that black music was in trouble even in '86, '87, '88?
I did.
What were some of the indicators for you?
Black radio. There was that MTV video of video killed the radio star.
Right.
I always said black radio killed the black radio star.